So last time we had spent the entire session looking at TestNG. There is one concept which uh, was not covered, and let's get started with that discussion, and then we will move on to the next topic. I'm going to cover my SQL database. So these two things I'm covering before other topics because these are the things which we will be using for rest of the other uh, tools and other topics that we are going to cover. So this is sort of, we need all of this stuff right now. While I'm just explaining about while I'm just explaining about the TestNG, I'm sharing one link with all of you. So I think maybe Kirti, you will have this, but if not, you please take this. So if you will go to this link here, okay, this is not, link is not working. Okay, take this link from here. I'm sharing it on the chat window. Okay, so I hope all of you can see the screen. So here, from here, take this server 5615. Can you all see? Go to drop down, choose 5615 and choose Microsoft window, and then download the first option zip file here. If you use 32-bit, if it is 64-bit operating system, use this download link. So can you all start this download? And please acknowledge if okay, please acknowledge all of you if you have started the download so that we can start with the session. Hello.
Sir, I already have this my
Yeah, I mean, I think so you will have, but
it is 5.5.60. So shall I up?
no, if so, does it work on your machine? If it is working, no need to do that.
Last time, like when we did it, it was working. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
so in that case, don't touch it. Just
Okay.
that should be more than enough. I mean, for the people who do not have it, they can download this.
Okay.
Okay, so others, Smita, Sandeep, Smita, I hope you have started the download, right? Okay, great. Okay, so then let's get started with our discussion. So coming back to what we were trying to do the last time. So yeah, so I will create one class here, and I will before I do that, let me explain the concept of listeners to you. Okay, so if you will see this drawing board here, let me go to Okay, so let's say, so this concept I have already explained, and maybe you, Kirti, you might be familiar, but for others also. So let's say this is your mobile, right? Let's say one of you is moving using this mobile, MOB mobile, and this is another person, right? Now, if you send a message, the message is delivered to this person. It does not directly come. It comes via some intermediary. Let's call it service provider. Service provider. You might be using any of the mobile service provider, right? Now, in case, let's say, when this guy sends message from here to this person here, maybe that he has turned off his mobile, right? Later on, when we turn on a mobile, we still get the message, isn't it? Right, Smita? We still get the message, right? Now, why is that
Yeah.
happening? Or even in the first case, why is it that what the message which you send to service provider will be delivered to the right person is because this guy's mobile is registered, the word is registered to listen to this particular, let's say we'll call it a queue. What is a queue? Queue is some place where the messages are stored temporarily. So when this guy sends it to the queue, the messages come here, and since your mobile is registered to listen to the queue, whenever message comes, it will get delivered to this particular person here in his mobile, right? Now this concept is said in in technical terms, it is said that this guy or this mobile is registered or listening. So this guy, this mobile is listening to all the messages. I should not say all the message, but it is listening to the messages which is coming in this queue. So as soon as the message comes, that message will be delivered to this guy. If they are not registered or if he is not listening to the queue, the message will not get delivered. So the keyword listening or registered is mandatory. Is that right? Make sense, Kirti?
Yes.
Right. Similarly, there is a concept of listeners in TestNG. In that, what happens is, let's say there is a program 1, there is a program 2, right? If program 2 is registered to listen to an activity happening in program 1, then if there is some activity which is happening in P1, P2 will get notified, or he that program will know of that, right? Is that right, guys, girls?
Yes.
Yeah. So this concept is known as concept of listeners. So let me explain that with an example to you. Okay, so see, this is how basically listeners work. Just this. Now there is an inbuilt interface. So if I'm saying implements of an I test interface, it means it must be an interface, right? So let me create a class for you. Here I'll say class listener listener. I'll call it testng listener. Let's say tstng listener, right? I'll go here, and in this I'll say implements implements this particular interface. Now if a program is implementing an interface, what does it mean? It means that whatever methods are in this interface, we have to give definition of all those methods in this particular class, right? So I will click here and I will say, first of all, of course, we have to import it. And after importing, you have to click here and add unimplemented method. So can you see there are so many methods which are available in this particular interface, which these all methods we have to override, right? So here, let's say I'll say sys out of PST FAILED. right? And here I can say, so sorry, this is test passed, PASSED, and then I can say here test failed, failed, right? Now let me define an actual test case. So I can take, let me take a simple test. Yeah, I'll take this one, test for underscore listerners, simple test case. Not doing anything here, just one test case. So let's remove all this. I'll keep it very simple now, and for now let's only keep one method, and let's see what happens. Now in order to, now see, this is test listener file here. So p1 is my test listener file, right? And my p2 is test ng listener, right? So this is how it is. Now I told you some time back that p2 should be registered to listen to p1. I mean, there must be some kind of a link between these two, right? This, so there must be this link. How do you bind them together? That binding or linking is done by a keyword here. So you can go here and say at the rate listerners control space bar. Okay, in that you can specify the name of the listener. One second, where is that? Okay, I seem to have forgotten the syntax. So this is how we say at the rate listeners. Yes, correct only. Okay, and here I will give name of the class. What is that class? That class which I have just created is this one. So I'll copy it. I'll go here Q. I'll say dot class. Right now, since it is listeners, we can have more than one listener actually. So I can have 1 comma 2 comma 3, right? I can define multiple of them. So now let's run this particular program here. Right click, run as, oh, not this one, where is it? Yeah, here. So right click, run as. Now before I run it, okay, first let's run it and see what is happening. Right click, run as test ng test. So as you will see, so can you see that I have said that we get an output test passed, right? Kirti, Smita, Sandeep,
Yes.
yeah. And in this case, I, although I get test passed, but I'm not calling this method anywhere myself, or am I calling it? No, right? This is getting called automatically, right? Yeah. So it means as you can see, this method is on test success, meaning that whenever a test case passes, which test case passes? The one where I have put here like this, means where I have said that this is going to listen to the test case. So the corresponding uh, corresponding method will get called here, and it will display, or you can perform whatever business logic you want to perform here, right? So let's say test failed is that. How will the test case fail? Let's say I create one more test case. I'll call test 3 here, and this is test 4. Here I'll say deliberately, I'll say throw new runtime exception, right? So let's see. So if I throw runtime exception, I'll say error, right? If I do that, and let's run this program again, now you will see that it will in turn call, this is a listener, where is that? Yeah, here it will call test fail automatically internally, right? So let's try to run this. right click, run as testng test now. So you will see that test passed is happening and test failed is also getting called automatically. Yes, is it clear, guys? Smita,
Yes.
Smita, what about you? I hope Smita, Sandeep, you both understood. Okay, fine. Okay, so can you please quickly take this program from Bitbucket and try it out? I'll just put it in Bitbucket. And I hope you have already started the download of.
So what is the path that WebDriver 3.x2 SRC test Java, right?
Of what?
Bitbucket path, Bitbucket folder.
It is this one, right? WebDriver, COM C22 API, this one.
Okay.
I'm pinging the path on the chat. Hi, all of you, did you try? Yes, everyone. Did you try?
Yeah, we trying. I'm trying. I'm still trying.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I hope you have already started the download of that.
Y- Yeah, my download is complete actually.
Okay.
So it is giving me some error. Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Share your screen.
Mm.
Oh, import करो ना. Type mismatch. Test ng listener कहाँ? Where is your test ng listener?
Mm.
No, go to the test ng listener class. Where did you create it? Is the names correct? Test ng list. Go to test ng listener. No, not this one. The other one. Test ng listener. Dot the second one. Huh?
This one.
Double click on that. Save this file. You have not saved it. Your error is gone.
Okay.
Others done. Smita.
Yeah, I'm just running the program now.
Okay.
Yeah, just give me-
Sandeep, are you also able to do it?
Naresh, I just connected to laptop. I'll do it. It's clear to me.
Yeah.
So I just have to run in time.
Okay, so let's move ahead then. So did you also start your download, Sandeep, MySQL?
Yeah, download is complete for me.
Okay, so what we will do, guys, is I'm also sharing one more link. That's a small one. It will not take much time. Please download that also. So it is called Heidi. Heidi is what is Heidi? I will just explain to you. So just 1 minute. Let me share the link with you, all of you. So I'm sharing it on the chat. Please take that. Okay, start this download. It might be an exe file. Don't worry, you can download that. Okay, so please follow these instructions with me now, Smita, Sandeep, and Kirti. So wherever you have downloaded the MySQL server, please go to that directory and unzip the file. I have done it here in my machine. So in my case, it is here, MySQL 5615. So I hope you have got the right version 5615 only, right? All of you. Go to that folder, unzip it, and let me know once the unzip is done. Then all of you, please acknowledge quickly.
For MySQL, which version we need to take? Because I think
5615. 5615.
561. Actually, I had taken latest one. Will it
Yeah,
take
that's
problem?
okay. That is also fine. If you
Okay,
have
then.
done
Oh,
it,
then it's fine.
then
Okay, no
so
problem.
in case you people have it already, don't worry about it. That is also fine. So can you please start your server if you do not know? So you can start your server if you know how to do it. Otherwise, I'll tell you. Smita, what about you? I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm just unzipping the files now. Downloaded the second one as well.
Okay, so if so, Kirti, so go inside that folder, go to the bin directory. Okay, Kirti, and open that path in command prompt cmd. Once you go here, you can type my sqld hyphen hyphen console, and if you hit enter, it will start the MySQL server. Right? Guys, please let me know what is that you are trying to do, all of you. Kirti, can you share your screen?
Sir, I'm not doing anything.
So, can you start your server?
I'm sorry, I was distracted actually.
Yeah, can you start your server then?
Like Hades SQL, right? Setup.
No, first the SQL server, MySQL, and then Heidi. Smita, please share your screen.
Sir, I'm sharing my screen.
Okay. Go to where the location. Yes. No, not here. Go to the location where you have your MySQL. Yes. Go to Selenium back. Go to Selenium classes. Yes. Go to
But your voice
Selenium.
is breaking.
Yeah. Where is your my?
MySQL, right?
Where is your that is in that's MySQL community server. Go to community server. Yeah, this is the one. Yes. Go inside bin. Yeah. Open this in command prompt. Open this in command prompt. This path at no, not like this. Type. Click on the address bar here and type CMD and hit enter. Hit enter here. Type mysqld ld space minus minus console and hit enter. Okay. Smita, what is your status? Please, guys, girls, let me know quickly. You can start your Heidi also now. You can stop sharing, Kirti. Okay, fine. Your unzipping is going on. Okay, fine. Okay, so while your unzipping is going on, I'll get started so that you people can try maybe a little while later. So at least let me get started.
How to start? What's the command here? MySQL.
Your one is did you install it as a service, Sandeep? I don't know which version you have. Can you share your screen? Smita, stop
Okay.
sharing. So go to yours is this one. Type mysqld
MySQLD
space minus minus console.
minus minus. Does it
Console.
space?
Console. Yes. Console LE.
Yeah, right.
Try installing to. Did it work before when you were using it?
I didn't tried it.
Actually, this later version were having some problem. That's why I told
Okay.
download 5615. Can you start that download
Okay,
56?
I'll yes, sir. 5 6. Just let me just a sec. Just a sec.
Go to 5615. Down.
1 5. This one.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And download the right version, 64-bit. Not this. That is 32-bit.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do it parallelly. No, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
It will be my speed is good. So
Okay,
that's
fine. Yeah. So stop. Can you stop sharing? Yeah. So
done.
so let's continue now. Now what we are going to do is we are going to learn some commands which are pretty important from the point of view of testing. I mean, which you will do as a API automation tester or maybe Selenium automation. So I'm going to cover those commands with you. So just 1 minute. Okay. Now what we will do is I will also cover with you basics of JDBC programming, basically, right? So just give me a minute, please. Okay, so let's have a look at I'll make a copy of this one. Paste. Okay, so let's look at a little bit of theory and then we will get started with our hands-on with with SQLs. Okay, so I mean, some of this theory maybe all of you are aware, but we'll still do some of it. We'll do it quickly and then we'll jump on to hands-on. So traditional way to store data is to basically store it in files, right? But it is not the most efficient way, as in the data can get easily corrupted, it can get compromised, uh, you cannot have proper authentication, sorry, you cannot assign various privileges if our data is stored in a flat file or other documents, right? Whereas if you store data in RDBMS, that is database relational database management system, then you can define various rules of who or who cannot access it, what are the standard structure of storing the data and all those things, right? So what is exactly a database? Database is basically collection of tables, and we all know what is a table, right? Tables has table with respect to a database programming is a collection of rows which in turn contains columns, right? So a field or an information, a field is an information or attribute of an object. Group of fields form a record, right? And then group of records constitute a table, and group of tables are called database in relational database management system, right? So as you can see, a row is one single record, as you can see here. So if you will look at this here, uh, if you will look at this is a single row, right, which is one single record in your table, right? Then each of this is a, you can call it as a cell, right? And this is a column, this thing is a column, right? This thing. So this is what a table is: rows, columns and cells, right? Then what is SQL? So like we have Java as a programming language to do programming, similarly we have SQL, structured query language. With the structured query language you can perform various operations on database, right? Like you can perform an insert, you can perform an update, you can perform delete and other database related operations. Okay, so that is what we are going to try today. We'll try some basic database operations with the SQL programming, and then we will try to do the same with the help of JDBC programming also. Okay, so first and the foremost thing which you have to do is, which I believe you people have already done. If not, we have to make sure that we are all done. So start your database, and once you start your database, there is a tool called Heidi. I gave you second link, right? 2 exe files, second link. So Sandeep and Smita, did you download Heidi also?
Yes, I had downloaded.
Yeah. So if you open that, that is an exe file. Okay. So double click and install on that. Just choose the default options of next, 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 and let me know if you are done. Done all of you? Heidi installation. So what is Heidi? Heidi is like an editor, like you have an Eclipse as an editor for Java. Heidi is an editor for the for SQLs, which I will show to you in some time. So is your download over, Sandeep? Smita?
The download is complete for me.
Okay. Okay, show your screen, Sandeep. Okay, so if download is, go to that location, unzip
Yeah.
that file.
Okay. Sure. I'm going there.
Down,
Uh,
MySQL.
just a sec.
Yeah. Unzip it. Smita, what about you? How you done? Yeah. Is it
So
done?
this, no, actually, this Heidi is, I'm just trying to double click on this exe to install it, and it's asking me to get it from the store. But should I just install anyways?
Yeah, just install anyway. You are using Windows, right? Windows.
Yeah, yeah. Is
Yeah,
it like,
yeah.
is it available in the store?
I don't know. I mean, just try with install anyway, and let's see
Yeah.
what happens.
Okay. And you should be, I should be extracting the files in the same folder where I have my SQL's files extractor, right?
No, no, you can put anywhere. Yes,
Oh,
they are two different softwares.
okay.
Taking too much time for unzipping.
That,
Yeah, exactly. My this unzipping is still going on actually.
okay,
Size is more than 1 GB.
I think so. Yeah, it's quite big.
okay, so it's almost done. Just
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
so meanwhile, you can double click on system.exe, Heidi system.exe.
Just. Is it client or
Yeah,
what is
it's a UI, client UI for accessing the database.
Okay.
it? Okay.
Okay, so you can just launch it also.
Are we going to use SOAP UI today?
No, not today. You can close it. This thing
Yeah.
is going to take whole session. Okay, so
Okay.
you can close this. Now go to that MySQL 5615 folder. Yeah, go inside that. Go to bin. Type MySQLD -- console. Okay, so it has started and it started in port 3306. Yeah.
Okay.
Now go
Right.
back to Heidi. Okay. Here you can say new. Click and yeah, that is okay. Use root and password. Give as password. Root password as I think so.
Just
No, it can be empty. Give some name unnamed. Double click on that unnamed. Make it MySQL left session name.
okay. Okay.
Double click. Type something there or
Okay. Just
yeah, and just say open. I think so. Root password is empty only initially. Open. Just click open. Okay. So this is an editor. with the help of which you have got connected to database.
Okay. Okay.
Now right click on SS SQL and say new, create new database, and create any database with any name of your choice. Yeah, so database has got created, right? Now we will start working on this. Choose S1 from left. Now here there is a query tab. Can you go to query tab on the right side? Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, that's it. Can you stop sharing screen now?
Sure.
Smita, what is the status? Smita?
Hello.
Yes.
Heidi is installed actually, but this download is still
Okay.
84% done.
Okay, fine. So once it is done, we can start with you. Meanwhile, I'll get started. Okay.
Can we at least set up the Heidi first?
Heidi setup. Yeah. So once your unzipping is done, let me know. I will let you do the.
Yeah, it's done actually.
Okay, share your screen then.
Right.
That extraction is not done, right? Until that is not done, we can't do this.
No, I did it, right? The session manager came up.
No,
If,
not this. This is to
oh,
connect
this
to
one,
database.
yeah. Oh,
First,
yeah.
let the extraction finished. Let me know once it is done. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you stop sharing? Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to perform some database operations, right? And after that, what we are going to do is so currently we will do database operations directly with the help of my SQLs, and later on we will perform the same operations with the help of Java programming, right? So that will cover JDBC for us. Now, in order to do that, let's say I go to my Haiti. So I've started my server. This is my server. Oh, I'll start my SQLD hyphen console, right? So let's also start my database here. And
Naresh, are you
Are
sharing
you
something? I
sharing the
don't.
screen?
I forgot. Okay. So I started my database here, my SQL server, and then I'll start my Haiti also. So let's start that, and let's do some. I'll open it, and I will create a database. Let's say I have couple of them. So I can right click here and say new database. I'll call it API underscore automation, right? So I'll go inside here. I'll select this query tab, and here is where I'll create my queries. So we'll start with creating tables. We'll perform insert, delete, update, and all those things. And later on, we will try to do all of this with the help of Java programming. That will be part of our or part of our JDBC programming, right? So I'll say create table. Name of the table is employee. So I'll say name VARCHAR varchar 20. Varchar is like a string, right? Name. I'll say sorry int varchar. I'll say 20. Then employee. I'll say DSIGNETIN again VARCHAR. We'll keep it again. Let's make it 50-50. 50-50. 50, and then I'll say salary, SALARYINT, right? So let me select this. I'll right click and run selection. Okay, I forgot to close this here, so I'll close it. I'll again run this. create table name of the run selection. So as you can see here at the bottom, it says affected this means it ran without any problem. So means table is got created. I'll select the database, I'll refresh it by using F5, and I'll expand this. And can you see a table here, all of you, Sandeep, Kirti, and all of you?
Yes.
So I'm pinging this query to all of you.
Can
Please.
you just repeat what is in that bracket? How to read that? So employee is a table name, right?
Yeah. So this is a table name. These are the columns in that table. This is a these are the data types. Name
Three
is a
three
name.
columns. Three columns will be there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the data type of this is string. Varchar is like a string, and this is an integer. So if
Integer.
you go to this employee, if you go to the data tab,
Okay,
or
okay,
if
got
you
it.
go to table employee, it will show you that what is the data created. So that is why we are using this Heidi is a tool
Okay.
to perform
And
database
the
related operations.
50 is a okay.
50
Why
is the okay.
is the
So
limit?
50 is the size of the characters which you can store in name. Maximum should be 50 characters.
Okay. And for int, it's coming around 11.
For
Int, it shows some 11 there, right? Table.
yeah, so this is a precision of integer which allows such a big length of number
Okay.
which can be stored.
Okay.
That
Fine.
is inbuilt, and this, I mean, I didn't specify anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm sharing this query with you. Please, all of you, please fire this query. Done, Kirti?
Not yet. I'm not finding how to run that.
No, select all, copy it in your editor,
Okay.
right click, select all, and say run selection.
Run selection. Okay. Okay. I have run it, but I don't see that tab there. That's data tab.
You have to select your database, refresh it first,
Okay.
then click on the employee table, and then you will see the tab.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it.
Kirti, what about you? Kirti?
I'm done. I did it.
Smita, is the unzip done?
No, it's still going on. Almost there, like 93%. So
Okay,
should be
let me
done.
know once it is done. Okay, so
Yeah.
now let's try to insert some data. I'll say insert into employee, right? So which employees, I'll say name, VAR, sorry, DESIGNATION, comma SALARY, right? And I'll say values. So I'll say name is AP. I'll say name is API1, right? And then designation I'll give automation, automation, and salary is 100. I'll select all of this. I'll right click and say run selection, right? So it will say affected row 1, meaning the data has got inserted. So either you can go to the data tab here and you can see the record here inside, or you can say select star from EMPLOYEE, right? If you select this, right click run selection, you will see that it shows the record here below, right? Name, designation, and salary, right? I'm sharing those to queries with all of you. Please try it out. Done, Sandeep?
Yes, I'm just trying one more. Means I'm done. I'm just trying to add new ones.
Okay, guys, let's take a first break. We'll continue after the break. Okay.
Okay.
We'll start.
Yeah, fine. 10 minutes.
Hey guys, let me know if you people are back. Kirti, Sandeep, Smita. So yeah, Smita, are you asking for me? Hello. Yes. Click on allow access. Okay. Fire those queries here. Okay, Smita. Okay. Smita, can you hear me? Fire those queries here. Stop sharing your screen now. Okay, so let's continue then. Okay, coming back. So we did a small operation of insert and select. Okay, we'll try some more operations and then we will try all of this with the help of. So let me go ahead and add some more records. So I will add one maybe 2-3 more records. So I'll say API 2 automation 2 and I'll make it 200. Right, I will select this and I'll say right click, run selection. Right, or you can even go to this data tab. Here you can right click and say insert row or duplicate record. Right, so here also you can, this is the feature of Heidi. So 3, I can say 3 here and make it 300. Fine, so I have 3 records now. If I say select star from employee, I click run selection, it will show me the 3 records. Okay, so please go ahead and enter 1 or 2 more records. Go to the data tab and you can right click and add or duplicate record. Right, Now let's try to perform some other operations like update, delete, and all that stuff. Right, so I can say uh, update table. So let's try to say update employee, update table, right? And then I'll say set designation of set DSIG and designation equal to AUTOMA automation lead for who, where salary is greater than 200, right? So if you will see here, I'm saying update an employee table, set the designation of a person as automation lead if salary is greater than 200. So whenever this condition is satisfied, it is satisfied for one row here. I'll select this. I'll say right click, run selection, and you will see that affected row is 1, right? So let us now again say select star, right click, run selection, and can you see that it is updated, Sandeep, Kirti, and Smita?
I will try.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sharing this query with you. Please create 2-3 records and try to fire this query. Please don't delete this queries. We are going to use all of this in some time in JDBC programming. So I'm sharing that with you. Try to fire 1 or 2 queries of update operation and tell me if it is working properly. Done, all of you?
Yes.
Smita, what about?
Yes, I'm also done.
So let's try to now perform a delete operation. So I'll say, for example, I'll say delete, delete from employee employee where let's say salary equal to 100. Okay, so if you say delete from employee without any condition, what it is going to do is it will remove all the records from the table, right? So let's do it conditionally, that I want to only SALARY equal to 100, right? So if I select this and right click, run selection, so you will see the affected row is 1. Now let's again say select star, run selection. So you will see the record with salary is 100 with 100 has been deleted from the database table, right? Now mostly from the perspective of automation, as a JDBC programming, you will mostly focus on insert, update, deletes only, right? I mean, of course there are a lot of queries you can perform with respect to uh, what I should say, with SQL, but most of our focus is going to be around insert, update, and delete, right? And mostly I don't think so even delete will be there, but mostly fetching or select will be there, right? So let's try another query apart from what we have done. Is suppose I want to find average of the salaries, or maybe sometimes you want to count the number of rows from a table. You can say select of count of star from employee. If you will do this, it will select the number of rows in this particular table, right? So it gives you a count of 2. If you want to give it some number as COU as row underscore count, if you give it like this, then this table will show, this will show as a column row count here. Can you see row count? Similarly, okay, so, I will ping this to in some time. Similarly, like we have inbuilt functions, in Java and other programming languages, right? We also have some inbuilt functions in MySQL also. So you can say select. So count star is also an inbuilt function. Similarly, I can say select AVG, average of salary SALARY from EMPLOYEE. So what it will do is, for example, currently if I run this, it has two salaries, 200 and 300. It will add it and divide by 2 and give me an average of that. So if I say right click, run as, so it is 250. 200 plus 300 is 500, divided by 2 is average 250, right? Similarly, if you want to suppose I create one more record which is complete duplicate of this record, right? Okay, so I'll make it API for example 4. So now I have 3 records, which is run selection. So 2, 3, 4 and 200, 300 and 300 salary. If I want to find the unique salaries, I can say select distinct of SALARY from employee. I'll select this, right click, run selection. So you can see the 2 distinct salaries which are available in this particular table, right? So I am giving you these 3-4 queries. Please try it out quickly and let me know if it works fine for all of you.
Naresh, what was the meaning for distinct there?
Means unique salaries.
Okay.
There were 200 two times, I think so, and 300 one time, right? So distinct means distinct,
Okay.
unique.
Got it.
Okay, all of you done?
Yeah, Naresh, I am from my side.
Smita and Kirti.
Yes, I'm also done.
Kirti,
This is actually very helpful. Actually, in office also,
Yes.
whenever they discuss, I hardly understand what exactly they do with database. Now things are clear to me.
okay. You could have studied before from me, Sandeep. I told you. Anyway. Okay. So actually, I cover all of this in the Selenium programming also. Sandeep, Jdbc programming. I think he has done most of what we are discussing, except for one or two additional queries, right, Kirti?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, SQL is a very powerful tool. You as an automation tester, you should know. So there are some good tutorials available. You people should actually make use of those. I will give you the tutorial links and all that if you want. And I'm a very big fan of Udemy, whatever you call it. It has really some very good courses, and I refer a lot of them. So and they are pretty cheap. So if you like to read through or learn from videos, please do make use of those things. It will really help a lot. Okay. So
How have you heard about DataCamp? How are their courses?
data camp.
Yeah,
I'm not very sure about that. I have
it's
not.
quite.
Okay. Just send me the link. I will have a look at it, and if whatever I think, I will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So coming back now, I mean, this is a very big topic. We can do pretty much a lot of things, which is not the focus, because mostly what you will be focusing on, I mean, more SQL you know, the better it is, no doubt. But there is only so many things we can do, so much. But I ask you all to try it out and experiment more with all this what we have learned. Right now, what we will do is we will use all of this with Java programming, right? So what I want, I will give you access to, I mean, of course you already have access to my Bitbucket account. So if you will go there, there will be one project with the name, this one. So let's open that, and let me know if you can access it. So let me just 1 minute take you to that one. Just 1 minute. Okay, so please go here in my Bitbucket account, and if you will, if you can let find this particular, 1 second, still right. Okay, so there will be this project by the name of what is that? Okay, it is done. So if you can find a project with this name, please let me know. Type this URL in your browser. You should be logged in with my credentials. Let me know if you can find it.
Yes.
We can find it.
Yeah. So if you can find it, that then whatever coding we are going to do now is going to be under this project, and I'm going to create one new package so that you can take the code from that package. So I will go ahead and create a let me create a package here. So I will make it package name in dot unnict2 take dot API. So let me just 1 minute. Let me make the name and forget it. So I'll make it in dot connect dot APIs API automation on weekend dot okay. It's a weekend class IST 800. So let's yeah. So let me, so if I'll create a file here, class sample. We'll delete this. I just want to make sure that if you can find this particular path. So let's go inside here. Can you please see if you can find this sample file? So can you just refresh your folder and see and tell me if you can find it? src main java. Here you should be able to find this. So can you say inside there is connect to tech API weekend IST 800, right? So I hope all of you can find this file. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I will write all my code here. So let's get started. Okay. Now before we do the coding, let's look at a little bit more theory, and we'll understand the concept of JDBC program. Then we'll come back to the coding. Okay. Now just okay. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is a language used in RDBMS to perform operations in DB. It is easy to learn and understand, and we can perform various operations like create table, insert, update, delete, select operations, right? So all this we have already tried. Now we perform insert, create, update, delete. You can also perform alter, select, view creation. Some functions also we tried, right? So like average is there, count is there. You can say min max also. So what you can do is, suppose there are like thousands of record and you want to find out who has minimum or maximum salary. So you can say select min of salary from EMPLOYE, right? So this is another function available. Like this, there are a lot of functions available. 200 is the minimum of the salary, maximum is there. All these things you can make use of, right? Now, one thing you should be careful about is that when you are making use of a database, like in this case we are using MySQL, you might as well be using Oracle or other database. So in that case, if it is integer, which we do in Java, it is int in SQL Server. Oracle it is number, and here it is int, right? Remember we created a table here. So this is an int data type here, varchar here. So this can vary, this can be different in different database. So this is something you should be aware of and you should take care of while you are programming, right? So next is JDBC. JDBC, what it stands for? Basically, uh, JDBC is used to connect to. Uh, so this is your program, program, which is written in Java, for example. With this, you connect to database, right? So that for doing that, we make use of JDBC programming. JDBC stands for Java Database Connectivity. Now, JDBC API is industry standard for database independent connectivity. What it means is that if you are making use of JDBC, if you want to connect to database 1, 2, 3, you could be able to connect, you should be able to connect to any of the database, whether it is MySQL or Oracle or whatever database, right? So you should not have to worry about whether you're connecting to this, or in future, if a new database comes in the market, right, you should be able to connect to that as well. That is why we make use of JDBC API. So JDBC API is industry standard for database independent connectivity. Now JDBC interface is not specific to database, as I just told you, right? If you are using interfaces or programming to interface, you could connect to any database, and JDBC is a Java library used to convert to database. Now what does it mean? It means that when you have a Java program and you have a database, right? Now if that is the case, now you cannot directly so when you want to perform any operation on database, you use SQLs perform operation on database. So what happens with JDBC? Now with Java, you cannot directly do communication with the database using Java. So for that we make use of JDBC, which communicates or fires the SQL commands and gets the response back. Now when you are doing this firing, there is an inbuilt driver in between. Driver, what is the purpose of that driver? The purpose of that driver is to take the Java command and convert it to SQL and vice versa, right? So that is the purpose of drivers, which we will discuss in some time. So is it clear to all of you what I just explained, conceptually at least? Smita, Sandeep, Kirti?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that?
Which part?
This one, last one.
Okay, so this part I still explain in more details. So basically, if I'm talking to you, Sandeep, and let's say you don't know English, then you will need an intermediary, right? Or we will need an intermediary to convert my language to your and vice versa. Yeah. So those are called drivers, because
Okay.
you are using JDBC to fire SQL commands, but Java does not. Java is a different programming language and SQL is a different programming language, right? In order to make them compatible, there is a driver in between.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what is a purpose of driver, which we will see in some time. Yes.
Okay.
So now this is how the communication happens. So in your Java program, this, if suppose this is your Java program, first of all you have to load the driver in the memory. After you load the driver, you connect to the database. Then you create a statement. After you create a statement, you execute your SQLs, which is insert, update, delete, and then you have to close the connection. Okay. So we'll try all of this with a program in some time. Now, this is the diagram which is important to understand. Okay. So let's look at this diagram. Just 1 minute. So this is a diagram which is important to understand. Suppose I have my Java code here. Java code makes uses this, right? And this in turn will load the driver in the memory, which is a driver. Sorry, this is the driver. These are the drivers, right? Now, who loads the driver? There is a inbuilt class called driver manager. It is responsible for loading the driver in the memory. So as you can see, each database has its own driver. This is driver 1, this is driver 2, this is driver 3, right? So what happens when you are using MySQL, you will load the database driver for MySQL, and that driver will facilitate communication between the database, right? Now, why do we do programming like this, or why do we use Jdbc API? The purpose is that if you are using API, so let's say if you want to get connection or perform operation for all the databases, the connection API will be connection only, meaning that method will be connection for this, and for this, right? And in future, if new database is added to the market, if there is one more database, the the vendor of this database will provide driver D4. So your driver manager can use the driver, and then you can easily connect with the database without making any change in the code. Change in code is not to be done, right? So we don't do any change in the code, right? Sandeep, does it make sense? Sandeep, Kirti, Smita?
Yes.
It's clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is why we make use of programming to interfaces, or that's why we make use of API. Now there are some small code change which you have to do, which is very minimal, meaning that you have to specify. So if you are using a MySQL server, you have to specify which driver you want to use, right? If you are using Oracle, you have to specify which driver you want to use, right? So these are some small things or small changes you have to take care of. But that is very minimal, and I will explain that to you how to do it. Okay, so let's try to perform some operations with database now. So let me create my first program, and we are going to call it CONNECT to database, right? So simple program, connect to database. Now first of all, what all of you do please is that there is a lib folder, right? Can you see that in the bit bucket? So I'll go to connect to tech. Can you find a lib folder here, all of you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have found it, see, first of all, do one thing. Go to the project of wherever you are doing work. In that, create a folder called lib. Okay. After you create a folder called lib, please click on this jar file. View raw will download the file. After it is downloaded, you have to copy and paste it in the lib folder. Please do that for me. Is it clear, Smita, Sandeep, what we have to do?
So this is under the same package. Okay.
Same
Under
folder.
SSNG.
It is under the same project.
Try
Download it
that.
and copy it in the lib folder. Okay.
To download these two files.
Sorry, what?
How to download these two files
Just click
from?
on the file. Usme there will be an option called View Raw. Click on that. It will say View Raw. Click on View Raw, and it will start.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Zip it.
Sorry, what?
We need to unzip that, right?
No. Just no need to unzip it. Copy and put it in a lib folder in your project. Create a right click and create a folder called lib. Right click, new, create a simple folder, folder, and copy that jar file into that. Done, all of you?
Yes.
There's only one file, right? One jar.
Yeah, the second one. There are two, but you have to take only one.
Sorry, which one was that?
8015.
Okay. Yeah, done.
Okay. Now, Sandeep, can you share your screen? Okay. Now go to Eclipse. So where did you copy that? Yeah. So right click on that. Okay, you have already added in the class path. Right click on that file.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, it seems you have already added in the class path, right? Smita,
Right.
you know how to do that, right? Stop sharing, Sandeep. Smita, share your screen, please, quickly. Where is Eclipse? Where did you copy it? Yeah, right click on the file jar. Right click on that. Go to build path, down, slowly, up, slowly. Go to build path and say add to build path. Yeah, just click on that. Okay, now what it will do is when you run your program, adding path means, I mean, it's a Java concept. Since you people know Java, you should know. But if not, this jar is added to the class path, meaning that if your program is running and if it needs this jar file, it will be able to use it, right? So let me show you the, okay, now let's, can you stop sharing now? Okay, let's get started with some programming, database related programming. So what I am going to do is, the first program that I'm going to write is to connect to database. So I'll write a main method here, main method. Inside that, I'll create a string str, or I'll call it URL. which is basically to connect to the database. So I'll say jdbc colon mysql colon slash slash localhost colon 3306 slash, what was that database name I created? I think so, API automation, right? So API underscore automation. What does this URL means? It means that I'm making use of JDBC MySQL driver. Then my database is on my localhost machine. This can be IP of your machine or anywhere wherever the database is. This is the port on which the database is running, and this is the name of your database, right? After that, I will say driver manager control space bar driver manager dot get connection. In the connection, I will give the URL, comma, username and password. So username in my case is root and password is password. Okay, in your case username is root and password is, there is no password, so just leave it as empty, right? Now this operation throws a checked exception, so I will surround it with try catch block. I'll say surround with either try catch block, and let me run the program. Right click, run as Java application. Okay, now before I do that, if everything goes fine, then there will be no error, and here I'll say sys out of DB database connection successful, right? So I can right click and run as Java application, and let us see what happens. Database connection is successful, right? So I'm putting this code in Bitbucket. Please try it, take it and try it. And while you are trying it, you have to change this to your own database name, and the root will be root and password will be blank, because in your case there is no password for the root. Okay, so please change this. I'm checking in the code. Please take the code and please try it out quickly.
Yes, I could connect now.
Okay. What about others? Kirti and Smita.
Yes, I also can.
Smita. Smita.
I'm just running the program.
Yeah.
How to stop that server? It's my SQL server.
Yes,
If
it's
I want to.
successful for me too.
Sorry, what, Sandeep?
Hello?
Yeah, okay. All of you got
Yeah.
connected, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's do one thing. It's already 10. We'll take another next break, last break for the day, and we'll come back and continue. Okay, we'll start with our JDBC programming after that.
So do you want to do
Yeah,
that next
sure.
class?
Uh, I mean, whatever you people say, I'm fine with both the things.
I think we
Yeah.
can do it, but it depends on other people.
Yeah, I'm okay if you decide to go for the second class too.
Sandeep, you want to do in the next session? I think Sandeep already. Hello, Sandeep, are you there?
Hello?
So are we continuing or we are going to stop today?
Yeah, that is what we are discussing. So whatever, I'm fine with either continuing in the next session, because I think so for the people in US it is very late already.
Mm.
Yeah,
So,
it's
We should
9:30.
stop. I think. Even
sorry.
if for India, that's why it's Sunday. I want to have some other things.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I think so. Let's continue in the next session. Okay, and
Okay.
regarding the
Maybe next week, maybe half an hour, we can
Yeah,
try to
that will be
complete.
good actually. Extra half an hour on Saturday and
yeah,
Sunday.
but we can't
Yeah,
start
right.
early. We'll have to do it after. I mean, at 8 only, and we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do it half an hour.
It should be fine.
Yeah, that should be fine. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay, then thank you so much. Yeah.
Maybe when Naresh, maybe to practice on JDBC, maybe you can give some. Do you have some PDF or anything? At least we can try that.
Let me Google something. Actually, I generally have my code is already there in the Bitbucket. If you want to
Okay.
try that, but let me search, and if I can find something, I'll share. Give me some time. I'll search and I'll share something.
Maybe
Okay.
Okay. And so just put this recorded section,
Yeah, yeah,
recorded session.
yeah.
Yeah, I
In
missed
half
some
an
part.
hour, I will put it
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay then.
you.
Naresh, whatever
Fine.
we need for database means update insert, at
Huh.
least 5-10 minutes you can show that so that I can practice on that
Okay.
through the
So see.
Java how to do that.
Okay. So let me show you the programs. If you can figure it out yourself. So it's all there in the Bitbucket actually. So if you want to insert into DB, this is how you do. Okay, so you create a query. Now this query will be the same query you can copy and paste from the Heidi editor. Okay, so
Okay.
your this and connection establishment is done. Then you create a statement, execute query and close it. So after that, if you connect to database using Heidi, you can see that insert is happening successfully. So if you will go to this package Edureka, there is a insert is there, fetch min select is there, create table
Okay.
is there, connect to database is there, right? All the update database is also there. So all the programs are
Okay.
already there.
Okay. On Bitbucket, where to find it, Jenny?
Yeah,
Just
yeah. It's
so.
under com C2T Edureka. So if you will go
Uh,
here, if you go to this repository here, SRC main Java, com C2T Edureka, weekend, this, right? So I will ping it to you. Yeah, you can take this. I'm putting on the WhatsApp chat.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I hope you found it. Okay,
Uh,
so all the programs that we are going to cover is already available here in the Bitbucket if you want to try it out.
okay. That will be helpful.
Yeah, okay. Okay then guys, thank you for your time. See you next weekend.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Naresh. Thank you very much.